This 17 News at Noon podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for 17 News at Noon. I'm Nicole Gitsky. All right, we are following breaking news right now on Interstate 5 in Bakersfield. CHP says all lanes of I-5 north of Laval Road are closed right now for police activity. Police have not yet confirmed what that police activity is, but traffic is starting to back up in both directions, and you're asked to expect delays. We will continue to follow this breaking news, and we'll bring you updates as they become available. Well, it's been exactly 2 weeks since an accused child killer escaped from jail, and he's still on the run. Tyrone Johnson and David Palms escaped the Laerdo jail April 28th. Both are accused of killing 3-year-old Major Sutton in 2017. Palms was tracked down and arrested in Shafter later that same day of the escape, but there is still no sign of Johnson. Officials say Johnson is considered armed and dangerous. If you see him, do not approach him, but call 911. And a man and woman are arrested in connection to a shooting that damaged property in East Bakersfield last month. Kern County deputies were called to the area of Oregon Street and West Drive for a shots fired call back on April 28th. The suspects took off, but deputies traced the suspect vehicle to a home on Fillmore Avenue near Oswell. Yesterday, KCSO served a search warrant at the home. They found an untraceable ghost gun, several rounds of ammunition consistent with the shooting, along with 20 pounds of methamphetamine, a half-pound of heroin, and about 1,000 fentanyl pills. Felix Gutierrez and Elizabeth Cardenas were arrested on several weapon and drug-related charges. Now in your 17 Court Watch, a man convicted for shooting 2 people at Hart Park will spend a quarter of a century behind bars. Prosecutors say 29-year-old Stephen Adrian Hernandez, his sister and friend, got into an argument with the business owner and his friend while at the park. The business owner called 911 before Hernandez took a gun from his car and fired between 3 to 7 shots. Hernandez was sentenced to 27 years in prison. His sister Tony Hernandez and friend Adrian Villasana each entered pleas at aiders and abettors before that trial began. Well, today marks 142 days, more than 20 weeks, since 4-year-old Oren and 3-year-old Orson West were reported missing from their home in California City. The Bakersfield Police Department has not reported any new developments, but they say they have not given up the search. If you have any information about the missing boys that might be useful to investigators, you can remain anonymous and call the Secret Witness Hotline at 322-4040. You can find all the latest updates to this story on our website, kget.com. And Bakersfield police need your help in finding 2 missing sisters. According to BPD, 14-year-old Darlene Flores and 16-year-old Stacy Flores were last seen on Sunday in the area of Pacheco Road and South Union Avenue. Police say the 2 are considered at risk because they have no history of running away. If you've seen either of these teens, call BPD at 327-7111. Well, did you feel it? An earthquake rattled the Kern County mountains just after 3 a.m. this morning near Bodfish. Now, it wasn't a very big earthquake. It was a magnitude 3.0 and came in about 8 miles south of Squirrel Mountain Valley. At that magnitude, walls creak, windows and dishes rattle, and you most likely wouldn't feel anything unless you were sitting or lying down. No aftershocks have been reported. Well, here at home, Public Health reported 38 new COVID-19 cases today and no new deaths. The state reports 44 people are in the local hospital with the virus. 8 are in the ICU. Public Health says the county has 15 cases of the B.1.1.7 variant that originated in the United Kingdom and 1 case of the variant that was first detected in South Africa. As a reminder, all Kern County residents 16 years and older are now eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine. You can visit myturn.ca.gov to schedule. Well, Adventist Health is hosting a COVID-19 vaccination clinic in McFarland this week. The free clinic is tomorrow from noon to 4 p.m. at McFarland Junior High School. You can call the number on your screen. That number is 771-8400 to make an appointment. And Nueva High School is helping to get the vaccine into the arms of residents. The high school is set to hold a vaccination clinic this Thursday. Anyone 16 or older is eligible to get the vaccine. It's happening from 1 to 5:30 p.m. To make an appointment, call 525-5900. Walk-ups will be accepted. Well, if you're a fan of ordering to-go alcohol, that may become a permanent thing. Currently, California allows for carry-out and to-go cocktails due to the pandemic. And today, the State Senate, yesterday, they unanimously passed the SB 389, which would make that a permanent thing. According to a press release, restaurants have suffered $16 billion in losses since March of last year due to pandemic-related lockdowns and restrictions. And proponents of SB 389 say permanently changing the law will help them recoup some of those losses. That bill now heads to the state assembly. Now in your education news, all 4-year-olds in California could go to kindergarten for free under a new proposal from Governor Gavin Newsom's administration. This is part of a broad new education spending package made possible by the state's surprise budget surplus. The state has an extra $17.7 billion to spend on public education, which the governor wants to use part of that money to expand the state's transitional kindergarten program. The plan would eventually open the state's program to students starting at age 4. The plan would be rolled out in phases, making more children eligible for kindergarten each year until the plan is fully implemented in the school year of 2024 to 2025. Well, what are the ways that COVID-19 pandemic has affected you? That's a question we all have pondered over the past year, but for 9 local students, answering that question made them a finalist in the 2021 Bank of America Essay and Speech Competition. The event was held virtually this year. Now, each of the participants delivered a 3 to 5 minute speech based on an essay they had previously written. Each school selected 1 4th, 5th, and 6th grader to represent the school. Now, for a full list of those finalists, head to our website, kget.com. Now to the statewide drought, as Kern County Supervisors declared a local emergency yesterday due to a severe water shortage. The resolution seeks immediate assistance from the state, asking the Newsom administration to transfer emergency water supplies to Kern. Snowpack in the Kern River watershed is far below normal, and the governor's office announced earlier this year it expects to deliver only 5% of contracted water supplies to local growers through the State Water Project. This comes after the governor announced a drought emergency for much of the state yesterday. In entertainment news, local 2-time Grammy-winning musician Gregory Porter is launching a new weekly cooking show. The show, titled The Porter House with Gregory Porter, will combine the musician's 2 favorite things, music and food. In a recent interview about the show, Porter explains how he has always felt there was a connection between music and food. Before the award-winning singer stepped on stage in Brooklyn, he was a chef at Bread Stewie, his brother's cafe in Brooklyn. The first episodes are available through the streaming services of The Infatuation and Zagat's YouTube channels that are available right now. And the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame introduced their 2021 inductees this morning. The Hall of Fame says this is the most diverse class of inductees and includes 60s soul singer turned pop megastar Tina Turner, songwriter turned solo artist Carole King, Los Angeles punk rockers and power pop quartet The Go-Go's, rapper and megawatt media mogul Jay-Z, hard rock heavy hitters The Foo Fighters, and rocker, producer, and multi-instrumentalist Todd Rundgren. In order to be a nominee, artists are required to have released their first record 25 years prior to induction, and they have to have created music that was so original, so impactful, and influential that it has changed the course of rock and roll. Well, finally at noon, a decorated Iraq war veteran is here in town to bring awareness to children struggling with hunger. Patrick Parker, also known as Sergeant Pushup, has made it his mission to break a sweat for our nation's kids. Sergeant Pushup says he has already provided over 365,000 meals for children across America through his push-up campaign. Today, he is at the Golden Empire Gleaners Food Bank doing 1,000 push-ups to raise funds and awareness about hunger in our community.
I started this some years ago because I knew we had over 13 million children every night that go to bed without eating, and that's unacceptable in this great nation. So I decided to do 1 million push-ups to bring awareness and try to help as many families as I can. It's not about what I did in the past with serving in the military. It's about what I'm doing today in order to make the country better.
Sergeant Pushup also wrote 2 children's comic workbooks to help teach children how to avoid spreading COVID-19. The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.